So today I'm going to be painting Sheoch the Kurnothi Tracker from Warhammer Underworlds Beastgrave. It's the most dynamic member of Skaeth's Wild Hunt, and it should be a lot of fun to paint. We'll see how it goes. I'm going to shoot for darker skin tones and very dark fur on them as well, with greens and golds for the armor. So let's get started. So for this model, I'm going to be using mostly contrast paints and a couple metallics. And for the skin tones and anything that I'm going to be painting gold later, I used wildwood. And as you can see, I was a little bit sloppy, but I also want to show that if you do end up being a little bit sloppy, it's not the end of the world. So there are ways to touch it up, and I'll show you how. So for the hair and the bottom part of the legs, I did a light undercoat of Gorgrunta fur. It's going to be covered in Black Templar, and I'm hoping it'll achieve somewhat of a red undertone. I've never done it before, but here's hoping. For the thighs, hooves, and tail, I used Sigor Brown. And as far as some of the mistakes I made before, I was able to cover them up by just painting over them with the Sigor Brown, because it's a very dark tone. If I was going lighter, I would have needed to redo the undercoat. And for that, I use a vanilla paint from Craftsmart. So I painted the legs, hair, and sword with Black Templar, and my effect somewhat worked. It does have a slight red hue coming through, but it's very dark, but that's kind of the look I was going for. So I mean, I guess I got what I was shooting for. But yeah, let's add some color to this guy because he's looking pretty dark right now. So after some minor touch-ups using the vanilla from Craftsmart, I painted the pauldrons and belly plate Warp Lightning, and I still love this color. For the loincloth area and the armor pieces under the pauldrons, I used Militarum Green. For any of the cloth areas, I used Creed Camo. For the cufflink and the waistband, I used Dark Angels Green. For any of the gemstones, I used Blood Angels Red. On the sword, I did a dry brush of Lead Belcher. And I've done another dry brush of Stormhost Silver on the sword as well. For all of the gold bits, I used Retributor Armor. I did a light dry brush of Stormhost Silver over any gold bits. For the tree limb, I used Snakebite Leather. And I covered everything because I want a different undertone for the vines that are growing on it. For the dirt areas of the base, I used Wildwood. For the grassy areas of the base, I used Creed Camo. I did a little dot of Ayenden Yellow to the center of the flowers. I used Ethermatic Blue on the water. For the vines on the tree, I used Orc Flesh, and this was over the Snakebite Leather before to kind of give it a little bit of a yellow undertone. I added some Volupus Pink to the flowers. With the addition of Rhinox Hide on the base, this model is complete. I had a vision of how I wanted it to come out, and I feel like I did a pretty good job in that execution. Again, this is the Sheoch Kurnothi Tracker, part of Skaeth's Wild Hunt from the Beastgrave set of Warhammer Underworlds. It's by far the most dynamic model in the set, and it was a blast to paint, it really was. And there were really no hard spots to get to, everything was very nice and open. So now I have 2 of Sheoch's Wild Hunt complete. I'm really excited to get the rest of them painted up and have the whole gang done. We'll see how they all come out.